And we are live. Yes, we are. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Jedi Academy. This is the Q&A show for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host, and this is our weekly Q&A show where we bring the best and the brightest of YouTubers and game changers, sprinkle a little bit of RSG madness, and here we are. And glad to see everybody here. The way it works is we're here to answer your questions, and I mean we mean all these wonderful people here. And so all you need to do is put your question in the chat, and we will scoop it up, and then we will go around and give questions to our panel and give you the best answer we can. And the way when you put your question in chat, make sure you put question in front of your statement. We'll get scooped up, and then we'll get the question asked, and it goes in the order that they come in. So glad to see everybody here. Wonderful to see you on a Saturday morning that you're spending time with us. Always means a lot to see this many people out here. So with that being said, let's introduce everybody. Now, of course, he's here, but he's really not contributing to anything because he still doesn't have his computer. But Dr. Finn,
I can.
What can you do, Finn? How can you help me? What can you do, Finn? I don't know.
Because I have a temporary fix for my computer. I was getting actually ready to stream until you joined the call. So.
Well, I was going to. What can you do, Finn? What do you want to? Can you get questions?
You want me to do? I can collect questions and stuff today.
I'll be damned. I'm so happy right now. I'm doing it all by myself. I digress. All right, Dr. Finn stepping up. I like that. I like that a lot, Dr. Finn. All right, let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the guests that are here. Dr. Finn and me are, we're part of the RC crew. But we got some awesome guests like we always do. Let's start off with the Colorado's finest, the one and only Warrior Presents. Warrior, how's it going?
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing? How's everything out there in Colorado, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty good, huh?
Glad to have you here as always. Next up, we've got from the Operation Metaverse somewhere in the Carolinas. We don't know which one, but it doesn't really matter. Mr. Good old Maurice.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, what's going on with you, buddy?
Not too much. We were setting up here about to go live. You were sitting so incredibly still. I thought I got an internet timeout, so that was pretty impressive.
I know. It's the skill I have. I'm going full mannequin. Little good old Maurice noticed. He did not kill him. Next up, we've got representing England. Little England. The one and only Michael W. Huntington III is here as well.
Good afternoon. It's 3 p.m. here.
I know.
And
it's afternoon tea time.
It is. I'm getting excited. Champions League tonight.
That's right. Yes. I see T-Money in chat. She said, "Good morning, guys. I'll be listening this morning with my prince." Oh, well, we wish you were here, T, but we understand. Gotta spend time with La Familia. And then finally, holding it all together, bringing up the rear, the one and only Stoner Jedi himself, Xyla Takedown, is here.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hey, you're all hyper and.
So I've been up since like 7. Yeah, I'm good to go.
I hear my apprentice in the background. Good, my apprentice. That's right.
We're about to eat some bacon and some breakfast. And
make
good
your
stuff,
father's life miserable. Throw the bacon at him. All right. All right, so we're getting all the questions in. Finn's scooping them up. Had a lot going on this week in the sense that we had the Q&A. We had the announcement of Ring Arena Championships. I'm trying to think what else big happened this week. I mean, those are two things that kind of stood out for announcements. And mainly the Q&A was a lot of questions and stuff. Gear 13. And we were able to get clarification what they meant, because when the first question came out, we were all like, huh? And then Finn took the RC account, sent a message to Carrie on Twitter, and she responded to us, and we got a better clarification. So with everything going on this week, put it out to the panel while we're getting questions in, and we'll get them scooped up. What's on your mind? What's tickling the old
Ships.
ships?
Ships.
What about ships? There, Michael W. Huntington.
Well, the fact that they're alluding to that we're going to get 2 new capital ships.
Yeah, they lied. That's not true.
I told you so.
This is all lie. This is all fake news. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The malevolence.
We're gonna get the Death Star and the bigger one. The bigger one.
The flying planet.
Yes.
No, it looks like from the
Kylo
post,
Ren's
the Malevolence and the Negotiator seem to be the 2 that they're pointing at.
Yeah. And then also Vulture droids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at this data mine. You know, the one that came out months and months ago, talking about Newt's capital ship is likely, and then just as Warrior just mentioned, there's a Hyena bomber droid. There is Yoda's starfighter. All sorts of ships were in this data mine from a long time ago. So
I haven't seen the mobile gamer video, but I'm pretty sure I saw a screenshot where he's pointing to the bottom left corner of Newt. And it's got an empty ship slot. Maybe I imagined that.
You did imagine that. Stop imagining things.
But that.
So we are getting new ships
and a cap ship. Woohoo!
Yes, we are. So ships definitely on the horizon. All right. Anything else on the panel's mind that's got them thinking about stuff about the game?
Can we just go around the corner and ask everybody if they think the game is dying? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of sentiment that the game is dying, which anybody? Oh yeah, we can go around there. Good old Maurice, what do you think? Is the game dying?
no,
Okay, yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. In that Q&A, while they didn't, maybe they didn't touch on everyone's most pressing questions, they actually did a good job of actually answering questions. In the past, a lot of these interviews they've done, they've basically kind of, chat. We can't answer that. But they actually did answer some questions this time, which I thought the Q&A was good. And they have been, we don't necessarily like the communication, but they have done a much better job with communication lately. Lots of posts from Crumb, lots of more frequent posts from Carrie. I think we'll have to see how Grand Arena is released. If Grand Arena comes out like Mods 1.0 did the very first time, that's they're not known for flawless, flawless introductions into a game mode. So how this comes out is gonna play a big role, I think.
All right. Anybody else thinks the game's dying?
Well, I think everything has a lifespan.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I feel like if we were going to compare it to a human being, where 80 years is the average life of a human, in Half-Life, you're at the pinnacle of your thing at 40. I feel like this game is, between 40 and 45. I feel like it's right in the middle. It's or a little past. I feel like the best years are probably behind it as far as the growth for them, as far as the explosion of individuals. There are still new people joining every day. But there are also just as many, if not more, people actually leaving as joining. Whereas I think on the first Half-Life, you get more people joining than leaving.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, you kind of have it where as many people leave as join, and then near the end, you start to have more people leaving than joining, and numbers start to plummet and stuff. And I feel like I said, we're about Half-Life or maybe a little past that, which means that there's probably a ton of people leaving the game at this point, but there's also a ton of people still joining the game. Mm-hmm. So it's not in a terrible place. And as long as they continue to infuse new life and do, quality of life updates and, introducing new skins and new things like that, I think they'll be fine for another 2 to 4 years. Although I'll say the next 18 months will probably be the best in the last half, and then after that it'll probably start to get a little bit slower.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So no one believes, and Carrie mentioned in the post that they want the game to last 37 years or something. Does anyone believe the game will be around 37 years?
Well, I thought the other thing she said 5 to 10 years, was the plan. I think that's more 37 years. No, but I think realistically, 5 to 10 years. Her goal setting. I saw it somewhere. Uh, I know they got a 5-year plan. So we know that the game is going to be going for a while, and they have larger goals for the game. But yeah, every game has a life cycle. We've seen it. It eventually it has its high point, it has its low points, and then it equals out. And depending on how good the game is and what they can put out, I mean, World of Warcraft is still going strong. It's not the monster game that it used to be, but I mean, it's still kicking ass. So they're still having giant.
I wanted to bring
BlizzCons and
something
stuff.
up too. The vehicles that they were talking about. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but like the whole ships concept wasn't received well and still hasn't been. And I don't know how well vehicles would be received, right?
Depends on what they do with it, right?
Yeah, identical to ships. It's kind of
Yep, except on the ground.
just
like, okay.
I mean, exactly. So like that's like just talking about it and just saying it out loud. Like if ships wasn't received well, I mean, like how well is driving a land vehicle gonna defer that, right?
Bring up a good point. I mean,
How many similarly matched ground vehicles were there, though? Like, I mean, seriously, you're gonna go like AT?
Yeah, we're gonna have 5
Yes,
AT
that's not even
tanks, and
yeah.
we're gonna have 5 speeder bikes, and
Oh,
God.
I guess the ground vehicles could always kind of give you just like a squad wide buff, maybe like the TB. Like if you guys complete the platoons, maybe it does something of that nature. You got like an extra icon that you can use after a certain amount of turns or something. I don't know.
I mean, like the only benefit would be like maybe like a new store, but even still.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. All right. We got questions coming in hot and heavy. Glad to see everybody here. They're getting their questions in, and we are ready for questions, I believe. So Dr. Finn has been scooping up your questions. Now make sure you put question in front of your statement, guys. You got to help us help you. Help us help you. That's how it works here. And we're going to get to every question, and so make sure you put that in there so we don't miss it. What is Did someone give Hideous sugar? What is wrong with him? All right. So, Finn, we got the first question. We'll start with Warrior. What do you got for me today, Finn?
All right. Question from Darth Unlucky. For Grand Arena defense, I am using Zeta Vader lead with Ordo, Mission, and Zalbar. I think it's missing a character. Oh no. Who would be the better 5th? Gear 12 Tuscan Shaman or Gear 11 Zeta Wampa?
I would actually go with Shaman, just because that's a nice obscure character that's going to add synergistically really nice to the team. But Wampa's just too good to throw into another team like that. You're putting too much meta in one team when you do that. So if it was me, I would do the Shaman. The healing, the revive, the dots, all of that sounds wonderful with that if you've got them leveled up. And Wampa, like I said, I'm not a fan of sticking a bunch of your overpowered characters all in one team, even if they're synergistic, when like a Wampa by himself can take out an entire team. So sometimes it's like, why would you put him with a bunch of people when you can get extra points and stuff? So I guess it just depends on what you're facing as well, though, for sure.
All right. Next question, we will go to... Why is my Zoom being stupid? We will go to Michael W. Huntington III.
Okay. Mike, question from John Davies. Can you get a 7-star Padme without the droids?
Oh.
I want to say yes. There's some interesting videos come out earlier on today with Zeta Newt lead. You might want to check out. I'm gonna defer this slightly to good old Maurice. What do you think after your extensive testing of the Newt, Zeta, and Separatists?
I think General Grievous. At least I couldn't have done it without General Grievous. We'll see though. I think Newt. I think a lot depends on that Newt Zeta could come in real handy. If it interacts the way it does in PvP, that health damage is going to be huge. If it interacts like it does in like a raid, like they kind of nerfed exposes in the raid, then I'm not sure how useful it will be. But I think it's a lot easier now. You'll have B1. Everyone will have access to B1 at 7 stars. He'll be incredibly helpful, just for the healing aspect. So I think it will be easier. He's a droid, unfortunately, but you get the stars for him. You don't necessarily need the gear on him, maybe for that event.
I would say, if anything, you'd want B2 over Grievous in that event. I mean, the character, like mechanics alone, like the AoE dispel is huge. Like Grievous is there for the damage, and you can kind of replace him with like a Asajj for like a pseudo replacement, right? Like Asajj lead, the 3 Geos, the quality Geos, I should say, and then B2 definitely makes a lot of sense. In that team, I've seen Spy in that event too, in the 7th tier, hitting 100,000 plus, and I mean, like, there's a lot of different videos. McKay has had a good strategy. Even Grande beat it with Poggle lead. So, I mean, but I'm not sure if Grande had Grievous in there or not. So,
I don't know if he did or not. That's a good question. I forgot about what old Grand Pappy Patron had to beat it. I just remember his Pog on a bunch of the other guys, and I was like, "You're a madman, Grande. You're a damn madman." All right. Let's see here. Next question, we will go to. Why is this fighting me? Give me a second, guys. I apologize. To good old Maurice.
Okay. Good old Maurice. Question from What Else 73. Do you think CG should put more effort into reducing how much RNG affects everything in the game?
I guess it depends on not really. I think that's what makes this game as addicting, and I guess it's fun for me. But I mean, if you eliminate the RNG in terms of like farming mods and farming character shards, then everyone has the same stuff, and that goes back way to the very beginning of the game. Most people on this panel probably remember. I mean, there was no mods. The arena, your fastest arena characters were the same for everyone. There was no real creativity in terms of squad. Like everyone had like Sidious or Poggle or Daka or Poe. Like these are characters that would just have naturally high base speeds, and those were the fast characters. Now with mods, and you can manipulate turn orders, and if everyone had 25 plus speed mods, it'd really go back to the same way it was in the beginning. I think, and maybe some of these events, maybe the legendary events, they could take out a slight element of it, but again, it does kind of take away the satisfaction when you finally get it. I mean, that Malik event, like when you finally beat that Malik event, like that felt good, But I guess that wasn't really RNG. But the Padme, you sit there and struggle. It sucks to struggle for hours and hours and hours, but you get her, and you feel like you've accomplished something. Like back in the day, BB-8 event came out. It was super easy for most of us, just simply because you had the Kylo Zeta. There was no real RNG there, and you got BB-8, and you're like, oh, So I don't. I think I like the way it is, I guess. Very long-winded. Sorry.
All right. Next question, we will go to El Stoner Jedi himself.
All right. Xyla, question from Wargul 128. What do you think is the lowest GP guild that can now pull off heroic Sith raid?
I mean, I remember the first couple months we were kind of keeping tabs on that, and like what were like the lower tier guilds. I would say anywhere between like 80,000 and 100,000. I mean, again, it's not just the GP; it's also like what teams you have and who's doing how much and what phases. So
million, right? Not thousand.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. But
God dang.
80,000 guild for the win.
Hey,
80,000 guild, right? Like the startup guilds beating
those
heroics.
guys are amazing.
I definitely would say at least like 80,000, though, maybe even 75,000 with the right characters.
Million. Say million. You're throwing me off every time you say 1,000. I'm gonna kill you.
Thousands of millions.
God.
I was looking at. I discovered that you can go through a load of different options on SWGOH, and I was looking at different things. And collection score, the highest collection score at the moment is a guild with 12 members. So you'll get that sort of concentrate, won't you?
Did. All right. All right. Back up top to Running with Scissorman Warrior.
All right. Question from Ouchie Dumpling. Why isn't Geospies Geospies ship reinforcement bonus not emphasized and recommended very much? It's amazeballs.
I do all the time. If anyone watches my live streams, they've heard me talk about Geospies reinforcement a lot. I don't currently use it, even though it's maxed out on my alt account, just because I don't need it yet. But you've got to get it to the 3rd level, so you've got to invest 100 pieces to max it out, and then you'll get that double taunt. You'll be able to alternate a taunt and go around like Houndstooth and whatnot. So I personally love it. And it's, like I said, it was the 2nd reinforcement I did on my Scissorman account. I do recommend it. I also wanted to clarify something on one of my live streams just recently. I've talked about it on like every live stream. When I'm slaughtering Houndstooths, I stun it and then kill it. And people are like, how is that possible? It's not in the mechanics. What's happening in that mechanic that I'm able to slaughter the Houndstooth through the stunning it is when he's stunned. So he gains bonus turn meter and regenerates, protection. If you can do more damage than protection regen, then it just takes, even though he's gaining that purple protection, you're actually killing the main protection and health. And so when he's stunned, he gets turn meter though, through you hitting other people. So don't hit other people. And then Geos actually turn meter reduce because of soldier. And so all you have to do, and they do lots of damage, more damage than protection regen is happening. So when you're hitting them with those shots and you're doing those calls to assist, the protection regen only happens on the first shot, not the subsequent shots. And you're doing far more damage to the protection and health than he's regenerating on that initial protection regen, and you're able to just slaughter it. And so that's the principle behind it's why stunning, because you can take away turn meter and leave him in a perpetually stunned state and do those mass attacks and kill it really quick. So for anybody who's watching, it's like, how is he killing Houndstooth with Geos so easy? That's how.
Yes.
But yeah, that reinforcement's just absolutely amazing. And for anyone who doesn't know exactly what it says, it grants taunt to a target enemy and another random enemy that does not have taunt for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. So it's 2 taunts. It allows you to work around a ship, and there's only 3 normally 3 ships in there. So if he comes in as reinforcement, you've got maybe 4 targets. So you're already going to have 50% of the field available to shoot at a minimum, which is pretty awesome to be able to decide, which ship you're going to want to take out.
Very nice. All right, next question to Mr. England himself, Michael Huntington III.
Okay. Question from Mostef Isley. Do you have a top priority tune to add the Gear 12 finisher Gear 2, or is it too early to tell?
Yes, Malik.
Pretty much your arena team with Darth
Yeah. It's going to be Malik or a Revan, I would have thought.
I would maybe even consider Bastila because the speed aspect, right?
Oh, if she gets a boost of speed, yeah. I mean, if that throws in like a 10 speed or something,
yeah, she's getting that.
She's green. She's dreamy.
But no, I mean, just after seeing someone saying that, was it Malik soloed Places of Power? Was it? I think he ran a weak ass Sith squad and a Malik, and it just soloed it. I mean, I mean that tune is the OP tune. Once, obviously, you've gone through all the checks. A, unlocking. B, farming up to 7-star. C, Gear 12 plussing.
Yeah.
D, Gear 13.
He's ridiculous. He is ridiculous.
What? Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, he's just like a combination of the Hulk and the Thing, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. It's
and the Abomination.
Yeah.
All right. Next question to Carolina's finest, good old Maurice.
Okay. So good old Maurice. A question from Mitch Alchi Dumpling. Who is everyone on the panel's favorite fifth in the Padme team? Grandmaster Yoda, C-3PO, Zaris, Clone Wars, Chewie, a clone.
Mine is definitely. Mine's Clone Wars Chewbacca just by default. I have him. That's not a character probably everyone should have at competitive levels, but I do have him. And this allows me to use C-3PO for my Rebels, and it allows me to use Yoda, to either counter Darth Revan or use with my Revan team or Jedi Knight Revan team. I think if I didn't have Clone Wars, I would probably prefer C-3PO. I think he is the most versatile for everyone. I still think we're getting a fifth, something via a rework or maybe some new character. I think we're all going to have a.
Please be Mace. Please, can we get the Mace from the event? Please, God, I'd be so happy just to bring old Mace in there and start wrecking.
It'll be not the Bindu.
Give us Mace. Just do it. Screwing around. Okay. Next question for Stoner Jedi.
Okay. Question for Xylo from Darth Revan 1023.
Oh wow! Darth Revan
from the post last night about ships. What capital ships or other possible ships might come out, and do you think it will fix the issue with how ships is a lacking game mode?
I really hope so. I mean, ships is something that a lot of people don't really take advantage of, and it's like one of the biggest aspects of the game, and it has so much depth into it, even though there's so little content, right? At the end of the day, I think that the two new ships, what you said to ask what two ships are coming, right?
Yes.
Okay. So nothing's been confirmed, right?
They just hinted at the ships twice, right? They put doubly good in the Q&A, and then yesterday they kind of gave the hint to the two different possible capital ships, but nothing explicitly stated.
Okay, well, if anything, the capital ship, I would definitely say Newt. It's been data mined. Everybody's been kind of speculating it's going to come soon. And then potentially what new ships we could see. Hopefully a General Kenobi starfighter and Grandmaster Yoda starfighter. And then for the Vulture droid for the Separatists, maybe a Dooku ship or an Asajj ship to complement the synergies with the Geos, and then the new Gunray capital ship, right? You can obviously use some other filler ships in there. There's a lot of flexible ships that works in other lineups. It doesn't have to be a full Separatist ship lineup team, but I think the more they start leaning into adding these capital ships and these newer ships, it'll just definitely lead to more ships content and maybe a ships raid, or like they said in the Q&A that they were considering doing a phase in the raid of just ships. So, I could see that too as well.
Okay. All right. Next question. We go back up to the top to Mr. Warrior Presents.
Okay. So Warrior, this is kind of a two-part question here. It's from Hilts1234. So I have a question, two actually, about bounty hunters. One, what is the absolute best possible bounty hunter team? And two, if you were to split the bounty hunters into two teams, what would be the best compositions?
Well, so that's very opinionated as a thing. It's not going to be a factual thing. It'll be an opinionated thing. And it really depends on who you're going against. If you check your opponent and your opponent has, JTR really fast and droids and things like that, then and you got to look at your Bosk speeds. And if you're not at like 300 plus speed with your Bosk, then you're going to want to go Django lead for the extra speed. So there's just so much variant. There's no absolute statements. That's the problem, is people look for absolutes and you can't. Kind of a default kind of go-to team a lot of people like is Bosk lead, because he's got the absolute easiest, at least for the AI to accomplish. It has the easiest payout. And once it hits payout, the team just goes into like bananas mode. So to set it, forget it, and know it's going to try and do its best on defense. Bosk lead with Jango Fett, Boba Fett, Dengar, and then a +1. And that +1 could be, I prefer someone that does debuffing, AoE debuffing. Zam Wessel happens to be the fastest of the group, so she does mass debuffs twice over, which is better than any other character. And she's fastest. So if you're looking to accomplish that again, if you're up against a team that might have a really fast counter, she's going to help you get to where you need to go quickly. I like her a lot in that team. And then that leaves the remaining bounty hunters, and I like to have Aura seeing as the lead for the offensive team with Greedo, Embo, IG-88, and Cad Bane. And you can use that on offense as kind of a B team for whatever. But obviously, Zam Wessel can actually run an alternating team with the thermal debt synergy, which is insane. So for that, I like to actually put Embo as the 5th underneath, like a Bosk or a Jango lead. So it'd be either Bosk lead or Jango based on your speeds versus your opponent, whether you need the extra speed or not. And then Boba Fett, Dengar, Embo. And I would really recommend Embo at this point, if you're in game and you're looking to really, really shore up this team and make it that much better, do Embo's Zeta. He dispels on basic. All the protection regen he does underneath Bosk just keeps him alive forever. You can't critically hit him with his Zeta. Not his lead Zeta, his unique. And then he does insane numbers in damage. So that's kind of the best in my opinion defensive team. But then like a Zam leader or a lead, Aura lets the attackers go stealth, which is kind of fun. But Zam really with the thermal debt team is a good option as well. And if you're going 3 versus 3, it changes everything again. So it's it just really depends. Obviously for 3 versus 3, I like Bosk. I like Embo and Dengar, but a lot of people will use Bosk, Boba Fett, and Dengar just so they can get the payout quickly. And then for offense, I like to use Jango Fett, Boba Fett, and like Cad Bane. And the reason is Cad's got a stun. Boba Fett and Jango Fett can shoot whoever they want. So it really varies based on your competitors, what you have unlocked, and all of that.
I like it. All right. Next question to Mr. Afternoon Tea himself, Michael Hunt.
Okay. Question from Hellenix. He says, do you think a nice quality of life update would be to allow us to choose which secondary stats to roll on when working on mods, perhaps for double the resources, so additional credits, mod splicing mats, etc.?
I love the idea. It never happened. I mean, because we're all just going to click speed.
Yeah.
And get to that point that good old Maurice referenced earlier. Once everyone's got speed, no one's got speed. No. I mean, great idea. Loved the idea, the concept, but no. It was just an accelerated breaking of the game, I think.
Well, not just that, and if they did, it would be so expensive and like such a minuscule stat boost, right? Like it would be like the 6E boost, you only get +1 speed, so like it would have to be something of that nature, and at that point it would just be too expensive, and there's already that layer of 6E that costs that much,
Yeah. I was just going back to the previous question. I actually I didn't record them, unfortunately, so obviously it didn't happen. But I ran a Jango lead bounty hunter against the Wampa and an Aura Singh. The Aura Singh one finished with everyone pretty much full health and full protection. The Jango scraped through by the skin of its teeth. That's just to highlight. It depends what you're going against.
Yeah, that's what you're using them for, right?
The leads are circumstantial. I think eventually, we'll probably have, valid reasons for using 4 or 5 of the bounty hunter leads in situational battles.
Yeah, intermatch. All right.
Well, I'll throw my hat in there real quick too. The Django team with Boba, Bosk, Zam, and Dengar. That's definitely a great defensive team for me. And then sometimes it goes both ways. Like I'll save an Aura Singh team for offense for like a counter lead team, and then if I put an Aura Singh team down on defense, I like to either put Cad Bane in there as a 5th with a bunch of protection, so he's like the only one that's not under the taunt, and it kind of makes him like a pseudo tank. Or you can like put in another scoundrel or just general tank like Sunfac, Stormtrooper Han, L337, anything like that. So
all kinds of good ideas. All right, let's go to good old Maurice for the next question.
I need to make sure I unmute quicker. Okay. Next question from Nathaniel Morgan is: will Malevolence just be a resource drain before the real capital ship comes? They hinted at 2 in the first Q&A.
Well, perhaps. I don't. At this point in the game, I mean, if you get a new capital ship, I don't consider that a resource drain. I mean, we kind of need it. I mean, just out of the sheer element that everything we've had for so long, and it's quite boring, you know. So at least in my opinion, I think ships is pretty stale. I know we got some ship fans on the panel that will probably disagree, but every event is a resource drain essentially for the next one, which I don't know. And I would be curious if the next capital ship is Newt Gunray, are we gonna have 2 separatist capital ships? I mean, there's Newt Gunray.
No, it'll be the first. Like, there's other than the Geos, there's no separatist capital or separatist ships at all.
Yeah. Again, I mean, back to this data mine. I mean, it's fake. It's fake news. But all of these ships, there's 4 or 5 Clone Wars era ships included in the bunch here. So I mean, there could be some other form of, I don't know. There could be enough ships to go around. I don't know. I don't think it will be a resource drain necessarily for the immediately following capital ship. It could be a resource drain for a character. Like, you use all your energy and crystals getting these ships prepared, then they drop, you know, some sort of new, you know, Clone Wars era character on us via an event. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, Carrie did say work on your Geos too, and I mean, like, that could have been like a reference to the Padme event, yes, but I mean, again, they're the only separatist ships, so.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
You know they're going to do 2 at once for a resource drain, and you know the first capital ship that's released will be the lesser of the 2. They'll both probably be uniquely different, but there's always one that sits over another.
You started sounding really distant all of a sudden, Warrior.
Warrior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you sound like you're really far away.
And I will say, you can go ahead and bet all your money that one of these capital ships will be required for some sort of special mission, much like the Chimera is.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
Oh yeah, totally agree.
They'll dangle it in front of us. We'll try our best to get it, and then they'll make us have it in some way or another.
So one thing, you guys are saying Newt, right? But wasn't the Benevolence Grievous's ship?
It was. Newt being the second assumed separatist.
Well, so if we look at that post, right, the 2 that they mentioned kind of in passing, which kind of like the odd words in the post that they set, was the Benevolence, right, which is one of the Grievous ones, and then the other one was the Negotiator, which is actually a clone ship, and I think it was Kenobi's, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Negotiator is that. So will Newt get left out again is the question.
Oh, who knows?
Did his data mine ship get nerfed even before?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It comes into the game. It comes
not
into
even
the game nerfed. Yeah, it doesn't even before it even comes out and then announce it. The first thing is say new ship, Newt nerfed. This is what it can do now. All right. Let's see. Let's go to El Stoner Jedi. Poor favor.
All right. So Xyla, question from JLY9. The question is, what is the Zeta order for the Padme-led Galactic Republic team?
It depends on like the variation like you plan to use her. If you're using her for the Darth Rev encounter, you go Padme lead, GK, and Anakin. And then, I mean, I would still say it's the same variance, whichever way you would want to go. I mean, if you were going to go for more of like, well, actually, I take that back. If for a Darth Rev encounter, you'd specifically want to do the lead first, then Anakin, because Anakin's going to give Padme that bonus turn to start shredding off Death Mark and getting an extra turn for her to start cleansing the team back again, and then GK, so he's taunting, and then at that point Ahsoka, and then it depends on who you're running as the 5th too.
So no unique on Padme.
I would say that one definitely comes last out of everything, only because that unique is like to counter like CLS and Jedi Knight Revan Night Sisters, which is like the backup reason why you're building that team, right? Like you're building that team to counter Darth Revan. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, see, I'm going totally opposite. I did the first 2 on Padme, then I'm doing Anakin. Oh, little Annie, and then Ahsoka GK. So
if you want all around use, that unique is really, really good, just for all around gameplay.
Yes,
yes,
I saw that when I was like, yes, please, I'll have that, and I'll have that. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see here. We are back up top to Spartan Warrior.
Warrior, are you good now?
Yes. Are you good?
Yes. I don't know how do I sound.
You sound much better.
Much better. Just like you went like distant.
I just muted and unmuted. I don't know why I did that.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's technology.
So I have 2 questions for you, Warrior, because the first one, Ouchie wanted a refund on her response from good old Maurice. So
what?
So
thanks, Ouchie.
What the hell? Refund for what?
If you want to give a quick answer, Warrior. Who is your favorite 5th on the Padme team?
Oh.
Let's see. Probably because I'm a little weird. I like to use Anakin with Revan. I still suck at beating Darth Revan because my mods are inferior to everyone I'm seeing, and so even my counter just doesn't work because I don't have fast enough Revan for the team. But whatever. Anyway, Padme is Padme with Ahsoka and General Kenobi, and then I use Barriss and Ayla Sakura for the stuns and the regeneration of health and stuff between the 2 of them. So that's my 5 versus 5 team.
That's pretty neat. Okay.
Yeah, it helps me pull away, Anakin and put him with Revan, although it's a moot point because they suck with that team anyway.
So no refund for Ouchie. Good. Okay, that's good.
And then on the similar note, a question from Devil's Treasure: what is your favorite counter to Padme?
I don't have a favorite counter. I'd love to hear someone else answer this. I go against people that mostly use her on offense. They use that team as an offensive team. I did go against it on defense once, and that particular person used both their Revans on offense. So I ended up not having I had my Revan on offense to take out his Darth Revan, and of course he used it on offense at the time, so I used my Revan team against Padme. The thing you got to be careful is every time you do a group attack or any kind of like attack out of turn, they gain that protection, and Revan's really got a lot of that bonus attacks, so you got to just not use that stuff, and then the team actually falls pretty quick. You just have to make sure that you're just doing certain attacks that don't call assists, so you don't get all that stupid bonus protection. But outside of that, I don't know what everyone's using, to be completely frank. There's not a ton of videos on what everybody's using against Padme. Basically, long story short, any team that doesn't focus on a ton of bonus attacks, calls to assist and stuff, are decent. So,
all right. Next question to Michael.
Okay. All right. So, question from Ski Trooper: would you use C-3PO or Barriss as the 5th to use as a Jedi Knight Revan counter? I use Jedi Knight Revan Thrawn on Malak. How do you mod the Padme team with the 5th that you choose?
Oh, how do I mod it? It's to be honest, I'm playing around with a very slow Galactic Republic squad. Hang on, is this Galactic Republic? It is yes. Padme, you said? Yeah. I'm trying out the was it just Ian the
yes
put forward the slow squad. I'm trying that out. I'm trying. Warrior mentioned about using Xyla in there. I've used Xyla. I think I tried Qui-Gon once. That really, I mean, on paper it should work, but in reality, yeah, don't do that one. Don't do that one. I've even thrown in a couple of clones just to see what they would do. It's like Echo and Fives and whatnots. But going back to the question earlier, I think just for the fun factor, it's so amusing, at least to me, to actually see Barris hit and it score. And sometimes she'll even, one hit someone out of the park. So yeah, just for the S&Gs, Barris, because she's notorious for how hard she hits.
Okay. Back around the bend, somewhere in BFE, Carolina, to good old Maurice.
All right. So good old Maurice, question from Sean Ragnar the Red Kelly.
Oh.
Have you tried General Grievous droids with Newt lead? I'm having great success with it. Climbed into top 20 for the first time in ages. Great stream.
Oh yeah, Newt's lead. I'm a big fanboy. I am all in on this leadership. I think this leadership is one of the better ones in the game. It comes at the expense. To make it shine, you do have to split up traditional teams like your Grievous team. You're gonna have to pull a Saj off your Night Sister team, stuff like that. I think it's really, really good. All those droids are very, very debuff oriented. Any debuff oriented separatist is great. There is a slight difference in the offensive output of Grievous and the droids. You really don't realize how big of an impact that -40 crit avoidance and -50% defense or 50 defense. You really don't notice it until you pull them off. It's very, very good. Newt's actually very, very good as a support character in that team too. A lot of the separatists really shine underneath that Newt lead. Dooku is really, really good. Grievous B1, probably B2 is odd if you pair him with Dooku, just simply because Dooku puts all the characters in stealth except tanks, and B2 is a non-taunting tank, so really they have no choice but to hit him, and he loses a lot of his effectiveness, I found. IG-100 is very, very good. Lots of debuffs, countering basic that does a debuff. So yeah, I could totally see that being real effective. I'm glad it's working for you, because I'm hesitant to really go bananas and start a fanboy train for Newt, and so it is good to see other people are having success with it.
All right,
that's awesome.
And always have the sound on for when you deploy dubious dealings. I think it's the best sound effect in game.
You told me that last week, and it is cool. Yeah.
All right, back to Xyla Takedown.
All right. So Xyla, question from Darth Sidious, says, has anyone found a viable use for the reworked fin outside?
He said outside Jedi training range?
Outside of raids. Just raids.
Oh, outside of raids? Yeah, I mean, what I like to use them for is when I use my JTR squad in Grand Arena, instead of alternating my fourth or fifth, I just have my core 4 group is JTR, BB-8, R2, C-3PO, and then my fifth will either be Trooper for the dispel, to have an extra dispel on the team, or Finn gives them some more survivability. Like if you need someone to regen a little bit of the health, his first special works great for that, and then he also taunts into that first special, and then gains retribution as well, and then his new special, the ability to ramp up damage, complements JTR so much more. And I mean, for the lead, it's still the same lead mechanics in a sense, except you can't get a train of turn meter going anymore. So you have to keep focus firing the same exposes, and then when it comes back full circle, it's not the same. So that was the idea of the rework, is to bosh the turn meter mechanic of it. So unfortunately, he's not a great leader really in my perspective anymore. I took Poe's really fast mods off him and rounded it up into another team, and utilized those mods elsewhere, because it's just so lackluster now. You don't really need to mod him for speed either with his turn meter gains. So
all right, Next question back to Warrior.
Okay. So Warrior, question from Ray Rock. He says, I have strong clones and weak Jedi. He has a weak General Kenobi, but no Anakin or Ahsoka. Thus, I have been running a mix of my stronger Jedi, Qui-Gon and Luminara, with my Gear 12 clones under a Padme. Have you had any testing with this?
No.
Clones, eh?
I'll open it up to anyone because it is kind of a harder thing to test. Has anyone tested that?
Clones?
So Qui-Gon, Luminara, and clones with a Padme.
Oh my god. No.
No, I mean, like that's just a odd mesh, right?
That's hardcore, man.
I mean, again,
I simply don't have. I don't really have those characters. I mean, I can't. I don't have.
I have them, but it's like I'm not. Yeah,
I've put 5s under Padme, and it's fun to use 5s as the 5th on that team. I'm having fun putting that because I don't have the rest of my clones up, so I play around with 5s. He's kind of neat in there because his special comes back pretty quickly for the call to assist. So that one I've tried, but not for like full clones. And the problem with that is probably that Anakin synergizes so well with Padme. And I know Warrior was saying like he's not running Anakin on that team, but you lose a lot when you don't run at least like Kenobi and Ahsoka on that team, right?
Yeah.
That's part of where the synergy really is for that team. So you're missing out on a lot.
Ahsoka going once or 3 times on a special, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Because you need Annie and Mr. Beardy for that to take place. And ideally, you want her to go 3 times.
Yeah, I'll agree with 5s is very, very good under Padme. I've used that a little bit. The speed down on his basic is helpful because you can just pound like the speed down. You don't want all the characters to go slow, obviously, but you can kind of slow down the like a single threat on the other team with 5s. It just lets your courage build up and then just deliver those bombs from Anakin. 5s is pretty good. Rex is not. Cody, I haven't even considered using.
Your key round.
I was just going to say, in 2 cents on the earlier question as to how to beat a Padme team, I've only done it once, and I guess it depends on modding, very, very specifically modding, because some say it's successful, some say it's not. But a lot of people use Kira on defense, but Kira with Hermit Yoda and Nest, just those 3. I use those 3, and as long as you've got a very, very tenacious Nest, it works actually pretty well, surprisingly. Pretty much gone full auto. So Padme is a really great team, but that whole combination of the Kira Nest is actually really, really good for offense. So for anyone that's looking to try and rework their team to find some new synergy and pull from different teams, sometimes you have to pull things off of defense and start using them on offense. I use Bosk lead to take out Revan teams, Darth Revan teams. If I fail on my first attempt, I can clean it up with Bosk lead, insanely easy actually. So that's another like what but a lot of people set Bosk on defense because that's kind of like a thing. I use my first order on offense now because it kills Karth leads really, really easily. And because of the dot synergy and stuff. So just like all these like known defensive teams actually have like a significant offensive capabilities. You just have to know what you can use with them and who you're going against and what you're going to be weakest at, because bottom line, they're going to clear your defense probably, so you need to make sure you have the tools in your tool belt to take out their teams.
Well, to touch on that team, the Nest versus Padme, that's I don't personally use it, but if you guys is something you're interested in, I posted a link. There's a gentleman named Clash that put out an excellent video. He's got the whiteboard and stuff about that very team. I posted in the RSG Discord if that's something you guys do want to try out. That's a real good option for sure.
All right. Very nice. Let's go to Michael Hunt, who's drinking tea, and there's no soy daughter.
All right. So, Mike, question from John Davies. What are your thoughts on potentially having speeders or pod racing for the ground vehicle event?
This is
like
pod
the idea.
racing.
Yeah, I love the idea of pod racing. that would take the game in a different direction as well. Of course, I mean, although you might be able to blow shit up on the way round. Effectively, it's kind of a minor contact sport, and just the skill of steering it and just not getting hit. Yeah. No, I like that. That sounds fun. I mean, we mentioned it earlier, and it was like, something, a little niche thing would be great. I think I don't know how keen I'd be to have that introduced into kind of the main areas of the game already.
All right. Next question to GOM.
All right. Wait. Okay.
That threw you off it. I said GOM. You're like, what?
Who's that?
Who the
I
hell
know
is
who
GOM?
is. I didn't think that's where we were in the order, but okay.
Yeah, we just did Mike, and now we're going to good old Maurice.
Okay, got it. So question from Apparingo. Have you received, and this is a question specifically for you, good old Maurice, have you received any communication about what's happening to the Game Changer program? Q&A kind of confirms it's dead. Nothing like hang a little bit, we're planning something.
At least for me, I mean, Warrior is the veteran here. I'm one of the new ones, So I mean, at least for me, I don't. Not much is really going on, but I don't see any harm in being a part of it. Like, there's no, I don't see any harm in being a part of it. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do so. I personally am not getting information really ahead of you guys. Like, we know stuff the same time you guys do. I have no idea the direction of the program or anything. It's not really, like I said, I'm just happy to be here. It's just, it is what it is. And we're just doing our thing. I mean, regardless of, what goes on in the program itself. I mean,
any comments from you, Warrior?
Yeah, there hasn't been a officialized Game Changer program since last year. That's a fact. The communication we've had with them has been equal to or less than anybody in the community. In fact, they do more like Q&As and conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
I always learn stuff from my patrons now, which is so sad that I'm learning from them stuff that's going on in the game instead of me educating them, because I'm so busy I can't keep up on the forums all the time, and they're like forum hounds and finding the stuff and sending it to me. It's like, oh, that would have been cool to know. So yeah, no, there's no program. We can call it a program because we're all in a Discord chat together, and they're in there, but they ignore us in that chat for the most part, unless you find a bug, that you want to report, and then they perk their ears a little bit. So you kind of have to go with them. If you want anything from them, you kind of have to say, hey, I found a bug, but I also need this. Could you do this for me? And I'll tell you what the bug is. That's sadly effective. It just worked this week with T-Money. So she got some stuff she needed apparently, but we had like whatever you want to call test accounts or whatever, but they're not supporting them. They don't send us any materials or anything like that, and so it's just basically an alt account you have to develop. And there's a lot of I know Arnold is missing a ton of stuff in his, and he wants to level it up so he can use it as a test account, and they're just nope, they don't send anything to him. So as far as a program, a program is represented. I mean, listen, I can walk down the street and I could say I'm a fireman, but unless I'm putting out fires and work for a fire department, I'm not a fireman. You can say there's a program, but unless there's actually a legit program with features and functions that are actually working and usable, there's no program. So they can him-ha all they want about there's being a program or possibility or blah, 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 bull crap. There is no program. There's a Discord chat where all of us used to be game changers, still chat amongst each other, and we're still a community within ourselves. So the fact that there's a community of game changers still exists, but there's not actually a program that provides any substance to anybody.
That's exactly perfectly said. It's a content creator hangout is what it is.
Hey. All right. Next question to my apprentice's father, Xyla. Take down.
All right. So, question for Xylo from Atomic Robot. On balance, which faction do you think will be required for us to gear for the next Marquee? Clones, Galactic Republic, or something else?
I want to say Separatist just because that faction's lacking a little more content than the Galactic Republic is, with all the new content we have coming too as well, and the fact that Dark Side Territory Battles is going to be the first of the two out of Dark and Light Side. So I could definitely see, and on top of the fact that they're releasing this new capital ship, we expect it to be a Separatist capital ship. So I could definitely see, a new Separatist Marquee coming down the pipe.
Okay. What is my apprentice doing right now?
I was just hanging out, watching the shows, trying to stay away from all the child music.
That's right. Put episode 3 on. He'll learn a lot. All right. Back up top. They're Finn to Warrior. Round and round we go.
All right. So Warrior question from Blackbeard Premium. Speed sets are the first thing I slice. What should be the next 1 or 2 sets I should slice?
Great question. So it's not all about speed. It's all about a super mod. And I actually should snip out what is a super mod and take it out of my live stream from a month ago and put it out as its own video. It'd be about a 10-minute video and teach people about super mods. Super mod is a mod where one stat rolls 5 times, like 4 times. It rolls 4 times, so you get a total of 5 on that stat. It can be any stat. Obviously, there are some preferred stats like offense percent, offense flat. There's a defense percent, speed. There are a number of them like that when it rolls up, you're like, oh my lordy. Potency, tenacity. I've got one that's the potency's over 10% on a secondary, over 10%. I mean, if that's not a super mod, I don't know what is. If you've got a character that needs potency, that's an insane amount of potency on a simple secondary stat on one mod. So what you want to do is you want to determine what a character needs a lot of. A lot of characters need like a lot of something, one thing, right? So you just want to stack this guy with as much tenacity as possible, or you need this guy to have as much offense as humanly possible, or you need him to have as much protection as humanly possible, or speed. Whatever it is that character really needs, be singularly focused. Have 1 or 2 stats maximum that you're focused on, accentuate, and then accentuate those 2 stats as much as you possibly can through mods. And if you have a mod where a stat has rolled 3 times, that it has a high propensity potentially to roll a 4th or a 5th time, and you're going to have a massive stat that when it goes to 6E is going to jump drastically. Now, not all stats are created equal. What I mean is when they did mods 2.0 and they created the 6D and slicing, some stats sucked and they knew it, and so they weighted the jump from 5 to 6 significantly more. A good one is the percent. The things that are percentage based were not as good as flat. So mods 1.0, if you had like 800 protection and then it rolled, it'd be like 1600 protection and then 2400 protection. It's like the flat protection was good, but the percentage protection wasn't as good. Now the percentage protection when going to 6E, if it rolls right, can actually be significantly better than the flat protection. The same is true with offense. It used to be flat offense was everything. Well, now you can take, and if a mod rolls 4 times in offense percent, and you can get around 0.6 on the high end for offense, and then you get that to roll 4 times, you're at around 2% offense. When it goes to 6E, it doubles. I mean, it triples, but you get 200% gains. So you go from 2% to 6%. 6% offense on a secondary for an offensive character is like a primary stat. So these are super mods. You need to be looking and filtering for any particular stat you want to supercharge and find the best of the best. So look at offense percent and then filter by offense percent, and you will find your very best offense percent mods. those first 5 or 10 or whatever you have, slice those. Do the same for tenacity. Do the same for potency. Do the same for speed. Slice those top level, and you always filter for it, and then you sort by it. So filter and sort for the same stat that you want to supercharge, and then those top mods, slice those, and you'll be surprised at how many secret little mods you've got that are going to pop crazy high numbers, and you're going to go, I never even knew I had a mod that could have a 6% offensive capability, when all of a sudden you've got 4 of them in your inventory you didn't even know about, and you weren't caring because it had 3 speed secondary, and you were like, well, it's a trash mod, it only has 3 speed. Who cares? If it's got 6% offense, it's a bigger deal than you're making it. So supercharge your mods. I definitely need to make a video on it so people can understand this a little better, but I love the mods for sure.
Oh, very well said. All right, next question to Mr. Hunt.
All right, Mike, question from Nathaniel Morgan. How will Malevolence be released? Could it be a legendary requiring Galactic Republic?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I mean, they've played around with the release. I can't see them. I think because it's such a big deal. I mean, we've had ship's been in game for 2.5 years, and we've had 1 new capital ship introduced since then. Yeah, it's. I was going to say possibly a marquee, but no. Yeah, something like a legendary would kind of be in keeping. Although there's the potential backlash about, and we're never happy, no matter how they release new content, it's always the wrong way or whatever, unless we're just given it. Yeah, I don't know. I would think it's an event that's worthy of specialness.
You're worthy of specialness.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm still. As Warrior was talking, I just ran some filters and I found an arrow with 4.9% offense and 93 offense. I'm like, oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah, see, you learn stuff all the time. Jedi Academy.
Is it a 60 mod?
Yeah,
that's pretty nice.
It might not stay. Actually, it's on. I'm quite happy with who it's on, but it might move off of her. It's currently on Aura Singh, which isn't a bad person to have it on.
No, not too shabby. All right, next question to good old Maurice.
All right, so good old Maurice, question from Warghoul128 says, who is a good tank to replace General Kenobi in a Padme team, as General Kenobi should be in the Jedi Knight Revan comp? And I'll ask the other question too, good old Maurice. Who could you replace in the Jedi Knight Revan team if you're putting GK on Padme?
Ooh, well, again, Clone Wars Chewbacca is an option. He is kind of lame, but he's got a taunt move, and he also has a healing move, so he can essentially build his courage up for 2 extra turns without physically attacking. So he when it is his turn, like Arnold put out a video, when it is his turn, he will more than likely eliminate somebody on the opposing side. We talked about 5s. He's decent. He's not a taunter. I'm trying to think Galactic Republic tanks that taunt. I mean, are there? Am I just missing one? I know Kanan gives a form of protection up, but he's not Galactic Republic. Let me look here. I really don't know. I mean, but I can't answer the Revan one. The Revan one, I do. Kanan is good. If you guys have Kanan developed and kind of split apart your Phoenix team, he's decent on a Revan team. Just be very cautious against who you're fighting, because unfortunately, Kanan's resistance is very, very low, and he does not perform well against special damage oriented teams like Darth Revan, like Night Sister. So basically, don't use Kanan. Now I've just talked myself out of that. So let's see.
Clone Wars Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's really the only one.
Jedi Knight Guardian.
Yeah, but the same thing applies to Jedi Knight Guardian. I mean, if you do make her any super tanky character that you just don't use any speed on them, and they will let their courage, the courage will stack up high enough for them to, when they finally take a turn, to do some damage.
But she doesn't have a taunt, right? So
No, but
No, she doesn't. But she's a tank.
yeah.
well, there's a lot of tanks. I mean, Plo Koon, I think, is technically a tank, and I'm a Gundai too, if I remember correctly. So
Giovanni's useful. Maybe not in Padme, but she's useful for Jedi Revan. I do think she's better under like a Bastila lead.
The guy who's going to die is not a tank. He's a support.
he's a support. Okay.
Yeah. Mace is Mace. MF Mace. Mace MF.
Yeah.
Snakes on plane.
You
He's
can't
a tank.
give him that with his current kit. Sorry.
Ah.
No, I know,
worthy.
but yeah, we're all kind of waiting with bated breath for Mace
God, I really hope Mace
Windu
gets
to
a
actually
reasonable-
just get a taunt and hit for a gazillion XP or whatever. Scales at them darkly and they die. Done. There you go. Mace for the
Sounds
win.
perfect.
Who is that?
Could
Who it
it
is?
be a Jedi fan?
JMA.
Yeah, we talk about Jedi,
JMA.
and somehow someone.
Who it is?
My Jedi senses were tingling.
Get in here to answer this question before I mess it up even more. So this is
No, I was able to pop in for a little bit at least.
Look,
how's
everybody,
everyone doing?
it's Jedi Master Dasha. She is my counter. She is the light side to my dark side, even though she is slowly being corrupted to the dark side of the Force by using Darth Revan. Yes.
Hey, I've been using all the other counters now. Thank you very much.
It's-
I just put Darth Revan for defense.
And you like it on defense, don't you?
Yeah, so you throw all your dark side out for the slaughter. It makes sense.
Yeah, Darth Revan you put out for the slaughter. Good call, Finn. Dumbass. Well, since we got you here for... How long do we got you for there, Jedi Master Dasha?
A little bit.
I don't even know what that means. Is that 1 minute? Is that 20 minutes? What does that mean? A little
Well,
bit.
we'll
You know,
see
whatever
how
I
it
feel.
goes.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. Okay, Jesus.
We have to hold her attention. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
okay. Let's give her a couple questions at least, and to keep her here. You know,
Well, good old Maurice is deferring his question a little
So
bit
give
to you.
it to her. Give her the question again.
The question was, Adastra, from Wargul 128, who is a good tank to replace Kenobi in a Padme team if you keep Kenobi on the Jedi Knight Revan team? And then as a counter question kind of to that, if you're putting GK on the Padme team, who can you put on the Jedi Knight Revan team?
Oh, well, you would prefer Kenobi with the Padme team, honestly, because the Revan team, you have way more wiggle room of the tanks and whatnot that can go there, because you want it to be Galactic Republic, right? And Kenobi just elevates that whole team. He's instrumental for the Padme team, honestly. Like, I would, if you're trying to build both, you want to keep GK with them. Because then you can use like Old Ben with Revan. I did that a lot. Ran it in Arena with Old Ben. He works really well with Revan. And offensively, you don't even need a tank. You can go with, like Ezra and Hermit Yoda to make it more of a powerhouse offensively. But again, for the Padme team, I would strongly advise leave Kenobi there. He belongs with them for the synergies that they provide, especially if you're going with the Zetas and you're just decking it out to become a Darth Revan counter itself, and it's a Jedi Knight Revan counter. You really need Kenobi there to make it more consistent, more viable.
All right. See?
I would like to defer all of my future Padme questions to Adastra.
Uh-oh, did I,
No, I don't really use Padme that much. I'm sitting here just making stuff up, trying to be helpful.
Oh, now you say something good, Maurice. Jeez.
Right before I got here, I suggested Kanan, and I immediately talked myself out of it. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming.
All right. Let's give him another question, Jedi Master Dash, and then we'll throw her into the mix with everybody else.
Another question for Adastra?
Yes. Let's
Okay.
reel that Marlin in and keep her in here longer.
Well, since good old Maurice is deferring all Padme questions, the next question happens to be a Padme question from Apropos Woolen.
what a coincidence!
Would Cup work with the Padme team?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, Galactic Republic, although I have actually been having fun with throwing in a different 5th. So technically, you could have anyone as that 5th slot. However, if you're taking on like Darth Revan, you may want someone a little more
Better.
viable there.
Yeah.
But like for lesser teams, oh yeah, I think so. I mean, you can plug in pretty much any Galactic Republic there. For lesser teams, it'll work because you have the core group that'll do the majority of the damage anyways, and so that 5th spot, there's a lot of wiggle room. Like I've used 5s before, Qui-Gon Jinn, R2, C-3PO, Grandmaster Yoda. But yeah, why not Cup too? Why not?
Why not? I love it.
For those that actually have a leveled up Cup though, mine sadly is not up to par.
No, I'm with you there, Padme.
But
completely unrelated to
it'd
my.
be a fun one, honestly, to try against other stuff. I mean, I don't know how well that would be with Darth Revan, unless again you have a decked out Cup, and sure you can, throw the health on him so he'll survive, and then he'll get the stacks of courage, and maybe he'll one shot.
Oh, courage!
Completely unrelated to my Grand Arena battle later on.
What?
But what would you run as a 5th? Well, what Padme squad would you run against the Darth Revan, Darth Malak, HK Bastilla, and Sith Marauder, i.e., the only tank is Malak?
Yeah, those are so much tougher. I've tried against those now in various places now, TW, Grand Arena, and it is a little harder when only Malak is your tank, because then you have no choice, and you're likely gonna crit, so then it's just gonna proc that taunt. But it is still doable. You just have to be careful and don't mess up. If you mess up,
then you die.
Error. Like, it's pretty brutal, honestly. This whole Malak, you just. But no, I mean, you can use the traditional Padme team. The strongest one is with C-3PO. Arguably, that's the strongest one to have as your 5th, because he just adds so much to the team in general. I like using Zaris, because she's not needed elsewhere, really. Like C-3PO, I love keeping him with CLS, for instance. And Zaris, she's pretty much open to get thrown wherever. So I've really got it down to using her with my Padme team. I know some people, they love using R2 there. If you can put up the potency on R2 and you have like an offense set, so he gives, that extra offense to the team, and then he's another stun that you have available. And so you just have to survive that initial barrage. I'm assuming if you have your team modded appropriately, you're going to survive that opening no matter what. And then eventually Malak won't have the taunt, and you'll be able to focus down the others. So you just have to, you play it a little differently, but you can still defeat it.
All right. Next question to Stoner Jedi and my apprentice. In fact, let's go to the apprentice. What do you got for him, Finn?
Well, really quick, Adastra, since you're just joining, I did make my full conversion to the light side. I put the picture has only been shared to the VIP so far, but if you go in the Discord, I put it in the Jedi Academy chat if you want to see that before your next question. I went light side. So.
Oh, woo! Welcome to the fold.
All right. So, question for Xylo. This is from Wolf Fell.
No.
What?
No, you must die, Finn. I'm gonna have the apprentice force you.
Okay, it's a question from Wolf Fell. With Grand Arena Championships, do you think they'll still mix 5v5 and 3v3 ships and no ships, with your ability to win a round in progression in what format in a given round? So do you think they're going to start mixing 5s and 3s and ships and no ships in Grand Arena Championships?
Stoner.
Who's on mute?
Stoner. I guess my apprentice really is force choking him. Good Lord, what happened?
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, see what happens when you get out of line there, Finn? Your ass is next. All right, he's not there, so we will go to Warrior. If you're there, Warrior, to answer this question, if you want to read it for me again, please.
Yeah, sure. So Warrior, the question is, do you think in Grand Arena Championships that they will still mix in 5v5, 3v3 ships and no ships in different given rounds?
Yes, I do. I think they're going to keep with the established rate. I think there's going to be 3 versus 3 with ships and without, 5 versus 5 with ships and without, and it might even do 4 versus 4, and try and add even more elements to that. So I think it's going to be the same, except for my question is, there's 5, leagues. Does everyone start out at the bottom, whether you're 1 million or 5 million? And then there's a different Bronzium league for each GP that they're using now, or do 5 million have to fight 1 million at the beginning until the 5 million naturally float to the top? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't clarify that. They just said there's 5 leagues. Like, well, crap, that doesn't help. So I can't help but think they're gonna, put everyone in the Bronzium league to start, and then everyone in the Bronzium league will be paired up with someone within their GP, and then after you start beating those people within your GP in that league, you go to the next league and continue to face people in the same GP bracket. I just can't imagine. I don't know, but they never clarified that, and I wish they would have.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was kind of wondering is myself, like, how's that going to work? Like, that'll be great for Warrior. That'll be kind of an easy win for you, buddy.
I found it really interesting. I mentioned earlier I was on SWGOH and you can go through all the various bits. One of the things I went through was the score, the GP of all the players, and around me was everyone that I've been drawn against this GA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, only one guildmate.
Oh, only one. I had 2 guildmates last round, or 2 rounds ago. It was kind of crazy fighting MC guys, but it was fun. We were having fun with that. And it's one of them like, we should bet gear. I'm like, I don't have any gear, so I'm not betting crap. Yeah, I can
bet your next Zeta.
Yo, no, I've done that. No. No. All right. Xyla, did you come back yet, buddy? Or are you still dealing with the apprentice? All right. Next question to Mike.
All right. So, Mike, question from Devil's Treasure. Has anyone found a use for Gear 12 Poe since Zeta Finn lead nerf?
Yes. Donating his speed mods to other players.
It's a good call.
Yep.
That's a good call.
It's a shame, but that's it. He's a donor toon at the moment. You see, Poe as the character, no. However, his ship, yes. His ship can be part of a MILF counter sort of thing, but the mechanics are a bit tricky. So basically, it's a fly or die squad of 3 attacking ships. And what you want is Poe to be the final of the 3 to go to stand any chance of taking out Han's Millennium Falcon. But as the toon himself, no, it's a shame. I mean, he's the actual reason I started playing the game. I got given it from a different game. I got given him as an unlock, and just after he got nerfed, actually. But at current, not really. I suppose you can argue that he would make a second resistance squad. It's just, where would you use that second resistance squad?
So I'll throw out the way I'm using him now. So I did have to kind of disassemble my Finn team right after the thing. It works, but you can really only use Zeta Finn if you're not facing anyone with a taunt, because the whole thing with his lead now is you want to remove turn meter off whoever you're attacking, and so you kind of got to get exposes on everyone and kind of move around your target. So it becomes a little bit harder to get his leader really going like it used to. So where I use it now, so now I put Zeta Finn on the Jedi Training Raid team as the 5th, and Poe becomes my tank on my CLS team. So I use CLS, Han, Chewie, 3PO, and now I use Poe. And a fast Poe can go early and start removing that turn meter. He'll get exposes up before even any of the rebels attack. So all of them hit hard even on their first attack and then trigger the exposes again. And the main reason for that is now GK is going on the Padme team, and Old Ben ends up owning my Jedi Knight Revan team, and so I was looking for a good tank as a 5th on that team, and Poe fit actually really well in there. And he does synergize with 3PO, right, and puts offense down and stuff, so he has a use outside of just kind of that. So that's where I'm using Poe right now, and he still has all of his speed mods for me.
All right. Let's see, who is that? Mike. So next question to good old Maurice.
All right, so good old Maurice. I'm not going to give you a Padme question.
Oh, good. Okay.
Actually, it is a Newt question. So the question is from Timinus1717. It says, what Zetas are suggested for the Newt lead separatist squad?
I think a lot depends on what team you're facing consistently. I mean, if B1 is going to be mandatory. B1 is absolutely mandatory. You could argue that you really don't need any more. Again, it depends on what you're facing. Newt's Zeta is very, very good, but it really shines against health-oriented teams like Darth Revan, like Padme. It does not. You don't get much use out of it versus teams like Kira necessarily that are very protection-oriented. Maybe like the bounty hunters and people that stack them with uber protection. So it has its better spots, but B1 is really probably the only one you need. If you're going to use Grievous, his unique is strongly suggested, or if you use Asajj in that team, her unique is also strongly suggested, but I don't think either one are absolutely mandatory. Dooku's is not necessary. So yeah, just put one on B1 and just kind of see what you like the best, I guess, is the best suggestion, and what you're using it against.
All right. Next question for Jedi Master Adastra.
Okay. So Jedi Master Adastra, question from Deadpool Kyle. What kind of Grand Arena Championship rewards can we expect to see? Crystals, gear loot boxes, slicing mats, etc. So what do you think is coming?
Let me peer into my crystal ball here.
Oh, the crystal ball of the Jedi.
Well, I mean, based off of the announcement, it's because they're saying we're getting the gear finishers. So I'm pretty sure they said that's going to be how we acquire them is through this Grand Arena. So I don't know if that means it's going to be the prize itself, or if it's going to be currency based, or if it's going to be, I mean, loot boxes would be the easiest thing. They love to, and then it scales up. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this, because I could see it being done in a few different ways. If they do the loot boxes, the tier levels, but is it going to be like the old Grand Arena where it alternates the different loot? Like how this Grand Arena, it's just Omegas and the Mod Savage, whereas other Grand Arenas we get Zetas and Mod Savage and certain gear. So I don't know if this one's just gonna make it a universal one, since they have the tiers, since they stated that each tier will give you better rewards. So they could just do a flat rate, so to speak, of like, for this level this is always going to be the prize, this level this prize. But considering again the announcement of the gear 12 to 13, the finishers, they're gonna have to have some amount of that in each tier, because it'd be kind of messed up if that was only available on the higher tier and the lower tier doesn't get squat. So I'm expecting we're gonna get some really nice rewards, honestly, and the crystals too. It sounded like we were gonna get crystals for this also, that they were gonna deviate from only arena granting crystals. So I'm expecting we're gonna get some nice loot boxes, honestly, to keep people enticed, of course. And they're trying to make this mode the most competitive mode yet. So I could see them putting out some really good prizes to help drive that competitive desire to obliterate your opponents.
That's the Jedi. That's the Jedi way, Adastra.
I let them obliterate themselves. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's really cool, and so we're gonna get some good prizes, I'm sure. And the Gear 13 is that's gonna be craziness. So gonna do everything we can to get those pieces.
All right, Xyla, have you come back yet? Okay. Back up top to Warrior, then their Fanati.
Okay. So, Warrior, question from Jason Coonan. He says, I would like to keep my MILF on defense for Grand Arena. What would be the best team to take out a MILF if my opponent also puts it on defense?
Awesome. Yeah, so
You're getting all distant again, Warrior.
let me try and unmute. Is it better now or no?
No, it's like your signal's kind of cray or something.
It
Weird.
It sounds like you're almost talking to like a tin can type of
right.
audio.
Let me switch something. Hold on.
Give Warrior a minute here.
He's working on the technical difficulties.
How about now? No?
No, it's the same.
Weird.
Yeah, you should listen to it back on the Jedi Academy, man. It's a weird sound, dude. It's like your far distant Roboto.
Yeah, that's super weird. I don't know why it's doing that.
And then like your voice comes back eventually. I don't know what that is.
Is my voice back now?
It's not coming back like it did before. Like that one time you started talking, then it just started coming back.
That's super weird. I've not done anything. I'm just sitting in one spot and I'm using the same thing.
I don't know. That's so weird. Finn, what did you do?
I break everything.
Damn it, Finn. Fix it. Fix it, Finn. If you're going to break it, fix it.
Look, I know how to break things. It's harder to fix
You
things.
son of a...
How about now?
It's like the same, but just a little louder.
Yeah, it's louder.
How about now?
You sound like a Sith.
You sound
Almost there.
Just a little further.
It's doing that.
I don't know what's going on. If it's a headphone thing or what is that?
No, I'm not even using
There it
it.
is. There's back.
Hey!
That's so weird.
That was
weird.
very weird.
I have no idea. I'm not doing anything different. I'm just muting. So, okay, so this is a video I want to make because I used to tell people, just do Imperial TIE Fighter. And after you do the Imperial TIE Fighter, you do Poe. And so what you do is you do Imperial TIE Fighter shot first, his special. It puts up the foresight and he takes off all the protection. And then you shoot with Poe. But Poe has to be intentionally slower and he's a naturally faster ship. So it's really hard because you got to kind of, make sure you overdevelop one character and underdevelop the other to make sure your speeds in ship is correct. And it doesn't always work, right? Because if the Imperial TIE Fighter misses, then you're like, okay, that was fun. And you're just done. Your counter doesn't work. So what I did is I wanted to come up with a counter that was consistent every single time, that I knew that every single time I could win and that I didn't have to worry about speed consistencies. And so I actually went to a 3-tie front with Houndstooth as my first reinforcement. You're going to probably lose 1, if not 2 ships total, and so you'll get a 20-point victory, but I get consistently 20, 21 points every single time. So you're using the First Order TIE Fighter, the Special Forces TIE Fighter, and the Imperial TIE Fighter, and it's no different. Whoever goes first uses their special. Whoever goes second uses their special. Whoever goes third uses their special. They're all 3 significantly faster than the ship, and you get to, for Special Forces, call an assist as the first move. And so you do Imperial TIE Fighter, and then you get First Order TIE Fighter that goes, and then you call an assist. So you get a total of 4 hits on Millennium Falcon before the Millennium Falcon gets a turn. 4 hits, it's the 3 hits nearly kills it, and sometimes kills it if it's not maxed out. If it is maxed out, the 3 hits almost kills it, and that 4th hit is a guarantee. So I've been using the 3 TIE Fighters in my front 3 adaptation now for a while, and I plan on making a video on it because it gives you more consistency. Now, if they have Houndstooth also on defense in that team, Houndstooth does gain turn meter, but as long as you have your ships maxed out, you can still kill the Millennium Falcon before the Houndstooth takes their turn due to turn order priority.
And what's the capital ship and reinforcements you use for that?
So I use Thrawn for my capital ship with those 3 ties. One, he can regenerate health. You have to have that because you're going to get hurt on defense when you're getting hit with the other ships, and you want to regenerate health. You also want to be able to put offense up so you can continue your slaughter and put defense down, neutering the other team. And you also want the ultimate, so at the end you can kind of finish it off and hopefully maintain your priority. I would recommend Plo Koon and Garson's ship as reinforcements because both of those
And we
ships.
lost Warrior.
Oh no!
Oh, there. Now
you're
you're
good
good
again.
again. That was weird.
What the heck? I have no idea.
I don't know. It was so it was so cool. You're like, and
But anyway, I recommend Gar Saxon and Plo Koon's ships because they regenerate health and protection, and that really helps with your durability of this ship. The 3 ties are more than sufficient as opening though.
Very nice. All right, next question to Michael W. Huntington III.
Okay. Question from Darth Revan 1023. With Grand Arena Championships, with matchmaking being said to be based off the leagues, do you think the higher league will be more favorable to higher GP players? And if so, won't it favor the high GP in Wales more?
I think it will. To be honest, I think that with all of these, in regards to the actual arena battles, it's down to who mods their tunes best.
Yeah.
It's mod arena and it's mod championships, simplified. That's what it's going to be down to. I'm 5.3 million GP, and I'm quite shocked, and I'm sure people say the same about me, what I put out. But I'm quite shocked at what I face, or maybe more importantly, what I don't face. How many people put relatively weak squads out in their defense and hold everything for the offense. So you've got that strat going. It's a case of I'm just opting that I'm gonna smash your squads for more than you can smash mine. There's more finesse than that, isn't there? We all know it. The tuning, the synergies of certain defensive squads are a royal pitter, and can really eat into how many banners you take from that battle. So personally, it's still going to revolve battle-wise around who knows how to mod their tunes.
You're right. All right. Next question for good old Maurice.
All right. So good old Maurice question from Aparingo. What signs should we be looking for to foresee that the game will be dying soon? I want to stop putting real money into this game.
When the developers stop communicating. When communication really falls off, I think then it's time not to panic, but to maybe think about your investment in the game. I mean, right now they're communicating a whole bunch. I've played many multiple browser-based games, phone app games, mobile games, and just every game does have a life cycle. And when the developers really stop communicating, stop responding, to your emails and stuff like that, stop reaching out at all, giving you any information about the game, then maybe it's time to maybe put your wallet back in your pocket.
All right. Next question for Jedi Master Dasha.
All right. Question from Darth Skywalker. Says, question, which team is better versus both Jedi Revan and Darth Revan teams? Night Sisters or CLS?
It would be CLS. While Night Sisters can defeat Jedi Revan, they get obliterated by Darth Revan. It's quite depressing. I love my Night Sisters. I have them decked out. And that's the other thing. I mean, both teams, though, do take quite the mod setup to get working. So while CLS can take on both, you really need some good mods. And CLS, you need that lead beta. It is crucial to get that team going. But of the two, CLS is your better bet because you can use the same team to destroy Jedi Revan and Darth Revan, whereas Night Sister can only take on Jedi Revan.
Oh, very nice. All right, next question for Xylo, if he's there. Xylo, have you come back yet, buddy? Oh, Xylo.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm like switching.
Well, I heard something. Xylo? You there? He who is Xylo.
He's moving around. I don't think his connection is steady.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said he was there, but give him a second. It sounded like.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll go back up to Warrior.
Well, that simplifies it because this is the last question before fun questions.
Okay, hey.
There's a Warrior question from Danilo Papayas. Says, what mod should I put on Wampa? I just unlocked him with from the Galactic Bounties.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
We can.
Weirdly enough, okay, that's interesting. So for
now.
Wampa, I like crit chance and offense. Just lots and lots and lots and lots of offense with a high crit chance. That's really what I like.
There you go, science.
There you go.
Science, man. All right, that's all the should be all
The real questions. Now we have some fun questions. So, question for Warrior from What Else 73, because of all your mic stuff today, says, is Warrior trying to hide his conversation to Darth Warrior by hiding his voice modulation?
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's breaking though. The modulator is breaking.
Modulation.
And then from What Else 73, should we start a GoFundMe for good old Maurice to send him to Lady Adastra's world-renowned Jedi learning school with a
Okay.
minor in Padme?
Oh.
Yeah, the Jedi aren't really my thing, unfortunately. I can't. It's every time I come to the show, I get like nothing but Jedi questions with the Dastra sitting right next to me, so I always feel a little self-conscious in the presence.
I'd be happy to tutor you, good old Maurice.
Okay.
Thank you.
For a low fee, of course.
For a fee, of
Yes.
course. Fee
All right,
must-
James Ferris says, did you guys see the epic victory for Beauty and the Beast yesterday against Treya last night on Urza's stream? So if you guys didn't see this, Urza set up his Beauty and the Beast team. So it was a Rex lead with Visas Mar, Gamorrean Guard, Thrawn, and Imperial Probe Droid, and went in without realizing that he was going up against a Treya team. And he managed to pull off the victory. It was actually pretty cool. A lot of the setup was right. That, I mean, you can use Rex and Thrawn and Visas, of course, because it's a Sith team, right? His IPD got lucky as hell
yes.
because his
very-
IPD managed to survive and managed to blow up Treya. That was the key to like the entire fight.
Yeah, he was getting stomped at that point. Yeah, he was getting stomped.
That's a lot of luck.
Yeah,
and
because
yes,
he was.
like, dumb luck.
Yeah, he was sitting there going, Jab, what have you done? Oh, God!
Why did you tell me I was going against a Treya? But once he blew up Treya, like you could see the recovery train starting. It was actually pretty fun watching him do that.
It was ridiculous. That's why I love hers. The funniest thing ever is when he used Darth Revan against bounty hunters. He still makes me laugh thinking about it because he's all calm.
He's learning now. He's
I know.
going
It's like,
against
guys, we're doing good stuff, man. These bounty hunters are really tough. All right, let's hit him again. All right, let's use this AOE. God dang, these things are tough. Oh God, and Darth Revan gets executed by Boba Fett. And it's nice watching. It is the greatest thing ever.
And then,
Oh, God.
similarly, Ouchie asks, is everyone recovering from the madness that was Urza's stream last night? I still have to catch up. I fell asleep.
can't deal with him.
I was too tired.
Yeah, I can't deal with him. I can't.
Durgan asks, Finity, who would you use under a Bob Ross lead team?
Oh.
If you guys aren't aware, on Twitch, from Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern until I think it's 4 p.m. Eastern on Monday, there is Bob Ross marathons on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Bob Ross. And you start watching and you get addicted to it, and I can't stop watching it. So who would I use under Bob Ross lead? Well, first off, you would immediately have to put Peapod the squirrel, because Peapod the squirrel is the best pocket squirrel ever. So Peapod the squirrel is definitely the first one. You would also want to make sure that you have Hoot the owl. Hoot the owl is an awesome owl, and he's grown up and everything. So Hoot would be the next one. Then you have probably Richard. You could put Kathy or Richard. They're both Robins that he grew up and put on the show. So I would go with Richard the Robin, and then lastly would be Darth Sidious, because he does have a Crow of Judgment that he takes care of. So that would be the team under Bob Ross.
All right.
And then lastly is from Hellenix. He says, I heard that the apprentice Isaiah is now practicing Force Strain Ranger. Being that the job of any good Darth apprentice is to eventually overthrow the master, aren't you proud of him?
Yes, his powers grow daily. Soon he will kill his father and take his place at my side. Well, not too soon. I mean, he still got to eat his chicken nuggets and stuff, so we don't want him getting too crazy too soon. So have to limit the growth there a little bit. So, all right.
Last question, if you want to talk about it, Ranger. Hellenix was bringing up the Escape Pod cast that was there yesterday, so if you want to talk about that a little bit, but that was the last fun question.
Yeah, me and Finn were on the Escape podcast. I think Xyla was on there as well. So if you guys haven't checked the Escape podcast, it's really a great show with Scotty and Paul. And I highly recommend it. Those guys are great. We had fun doing our segment that we did with those guys. So you can go to the Escape podcast. You can download it at any of the stores. And they've got a Discord. So there's all kinds of places you can check them out. So I highly recommend that.
And make sure that you listen to their last one. Not just because of us, but they actually make an announcement of something.
Oh, yeah. Pretty big announcement.
So make sure you check that.
I'm pretty happy for those guys. It's pretty amazeballs. All right, that being said, we are going to let everybody pimp their stuff. They can get out of here. Now, what's going to happen, guys, is after this, we'll take a little break at 1 p.m. I will be back to do my GA. So come check us on Twitch. We'll do a Grand Arena on Twitch. Then we'll have a big hiatus. And tonight I'm going to do some Battlefront. And then we'll do Battlefront all the way up to Pictionary. And then we will do Pictionary for a little bit, and then that'll be our Saturday. So a lot of fun stuff for you guys. So make sure you subscribe to Twitch and follow us on Twitch and all that other stuff. And yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff going on. So that being said, Warrior, where can folks check you out at?
You can check me out in Colorado. Come see me. No. Yeah, YouTube. That's the first place to start. You could always type in the search browser Warrior Presents and you'll find me. It's pretty simple.
That's right. You got your Scissorman
So
Warrior.
there you go.
You got your Scissorman account going.
Yeah, that one's a more fun than my main account anyway. But yeah, so definitely want to do some more Grand Arena stuff. Been having a lot of fun in my Scissorman account with Grand Arena. I'm having a hard time with timing, but hopefully that will free up at the end of June, and then things will be back to normal moving forward beyond June. So pretty excited about that.
Outstanding. All right. Let's see. Michael W. Huntington III. Where can folks check you out at?
Yep, I've got a YouTube channel too, Mike Hunt SWGOH. Please put the initials at the end. Otherwise, you find different content. I'm in a similar boat. I'm having so much fun at the moment with my alt account, and I'm running, Grand Arenas. It's currently just under 2,750. So I'm about to go through the next GP bracket and move into another world of pain. But it's interesting. I mean, the alt account's focused a lot on mods. And my first Grand Arena battle this time round, I think I had 30 tunes faster than my opponent's fastest, which was quite shocking in a way. Yeah, so there's loads of Yorkie doing battles, and there's some regular content from the main account as well.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good old Maurice. What's going on with you, buddy?
Hello. Thank you guys again for having me. It's always fun being on here.
Yes.
I am one half of, excuse me, I can't talk today, Operation Metaverse. I released a video this morning, actually, Newt taking out Jedi Knight Revan. We got a whole bunch of separatist stuff coming. We do a live stream every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. EST. I also am on the Alliance live show on Ramon Azab's channel Sunday nights. Now that Game of Thrones is over, we're back to a regular schedule of 11 p.m. on Sunday evenings. So hope to see you guys there.
All right. Jedi Dash, I know you got a channel, right?
I sure do.
Oh.
Also YouTube, Jedi Master Adastra. Obviously, as it sounds, Jedi-related content is the primary reason for that channel. And then I also hang out in Discord servers. I think I'm in way too many Discord servers now, honestly.
Yeah, welcome to
But
our
it's
world.
a lot of fun just hanging out and helping people and doing whatever. I need to upload some more videos soon, honestly. I record a lot of stuff, but I just haven't been uploading as much as I once did.
It's all right.
So expect some Galactic Republic stuff and Jedi stuff and Raid stuff eventually.
No Sith content?
No, what is the Sith you speak of?
The dominant force in the galaxy. What's wrong with you?
Never.
It's just a matter of time, and Dasha. Just a matter of time. Me and my apprentice will.
A matter of time before we get another Galactic Republic character.
Probably, yeah, probably.
And then Padme will be the number one meta.
No, it's not gonna. No, it's not gonna happen. And then last we got Xyla Takedown, buddy. Where folks check you out at?
Yeah, can check me out on YouTube. Takedown Games. I'm doing my Grand Arena streams. So excited for Grand Arena Championships and doing some more active live streams, roster reviews, character reviews, stuff like that too. Just a way to kind of mesh with you guys, the community, and going through some work exchanges too as well. This week and next week, I'm going to start work the mornings while the kids are at school for the summer. Work for the county down here in Florida, so while the kids are away, I get a little more free time to go play. So yeah.
All right. And Finn, where can folks check out all our shit? We got a lot of stuff going on, Finn.
We do. So I am waiting on my new computer, which will hopefully come in June 4th is the expected date. So then I'll start to be able to do some more of the AV stuff. So for those of you guys that are waiting for the podcast, I apologize. My computer has been having issues for a little bit. I've been trying to work through it, at least for the stream, but it is starting to crap out. Managed to put together a temporary fix, at least for today, so it's working. But yeah, so we will have a lot more videos coming out. We have a bunch of mod videos planned. We have a whole new type of video that I've been working on. I know Ranger's upset with me because it's been a while since we recorded it, but I've been working on it, and so that's hopefully going to be coming out soon as well. So make sure that you do subscribe and hit the little bell so you'll get notifications when we do upload some stuff. I do have a fun idea that I'm putting together. And so the VIPs, if you're a patron, then you'll have seen the picture, and you guys can always join and become a patron and all of that kind of fun stuff. Also, as a little bit of a side note, June 19th through the 23rd, I believe are the dates, I will be in Chicago. I'll be there for work purposes. But if you are there, I am trying to plan a couple of meetups. I think one is on the Wednesday night and one is on the Sunday afternoon. For anybody that is in Chicago and would like to meet up. So if you would like to hang out and head on to the RSG Discord, message Cybershark. He is helping me coordinate it as the local Chicagoan, I think is the proper term. And so we'll try and set that up if you guys are interested in hanging out.
All right. Make sure you guys do me a favor, subscribe, like the video for this channel, but please check out these other channels. These guys take... all these wonderful people take the time to be here to answer your questions. You know, all you need to do is just go visit their channel, check out some of their videos, give them some likes, subscribe if you like the content, and support them. We want to support the community, and that's a great way of doing it. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Remember, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Twitch, we will do Grand Arena. And then we'll take a break, and then we'll be back tonight. We'll be doing some Battlefront 2. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to be playing with just Ian. Hopefully DPK can be there. We're going to do some Battlefront, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll do Pictionary. If you have not had a chance to play Pictionary, some of the people here have played it. It's a hoot. We have a lot of fun doing that. So different stuff for you guys to hang out with and just play and just enjoy yourself. So on behalf of myself and everybody here on the Jedi Academy, thank you guys for being here. Very much appreciate all your support. It means a lot. And with that, we will see you soon. Peace.